Hey folks, we are here at Hidden Magic TV. We have our special guest today with VIP Beauty, Angela Dileone, who is a celebrity hair and makeup stylist, and she also caters to clients all around whatever area she decides that she's going to be in. Primarily, she has a salon in Pittsburgh, right? And then you do some work occasionally here in Tampa, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about your background. How long have you been doing this?
I have been doing this for almost 30 years.
30 years?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Did I give away my age?
We're going to assume that you didn't.
Okay.
We're going to assume. So you started when you was 10.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So talk about that. Talk about how was it when you got started and.
Well, I was quite young. I had a handicapped aunt that babysat me, and she pulled out a pair of tweezers one day and said, "I'm going to show you how to pluck my eyebrows," because she couldn't do a lot of things. And at probably 8 years old, I was plucking eyebrows. So
really?
It just kind of went like that. And then I started doing all my friends' hair and makeup before dances. And we used to joke around while we were doing it, and they'd be like, "Angela, you're going to have your own salon someday, and we're going to be your receptionist, and I'm going to be your marketing person." And we were just laughing about it. But it ended up that was the route that I took. Right out of high school, I went to a beauty school.
All right. Now, how long did that process take?
Beauty school was about 9 months full time, but I was one of those people that it wasn't enough for me, so I went to night classes. I added, at the time there was no acrylic nails, I added acrylic nails, I added makeup, skincare. So by the time I graduated, I had about 15 different certificates for extra educational beauty work that I did.
So when you talk about you added this and you added that, I'm going to ask, where did you get the idea? Did somebody where did that come from? What made
Probably, your magazines, and I was highly enticed by magazines and newspaper and television, and I always wanted to know more and what the newest was, the celebrities mainly. And then I would ask my teachers, and they'd be like, "Well, we do have this class for this," and I would take that class. And then being from a small town in the suburbs of Pittsburgh, I actually had to travel to the downtown Pittsburgh area to get more of the cultural part of it, the relaxers and different types of services that my smaller town didn't even offer in their school.
Okay, so when you say relaxers, we're going to keep this real, right?
Okay.
You ethnic.
Yes.
Ethnic. Okay,
so
we
I
can
do
talk
ethnic
about
hair as well.
We talk about the black. We could say that. We could say black hair,
okay,
right?
Yes.
Now,
Multicultural.
Is there a lot of misconceptions that somebody that's Caucasian doesn't understand or can't do black hair?
Yes.
Is there truth to that, or
No.
is that?
I think it's more. I don't know why that is, because if you took the training for it and you understand the makeup of the hair texture, it's all about the texture of the hair. It has nothing to do with black or white.
It has nothing to do with it. Okay, that's cool. Do you feel like there are? Is there differences really?
There is a huge difference in the texture of the hair, but and also I have had multicultural clients that had Caucasian hair, so. It goes both ways. It just depends. But there is a difference in the way that you would treat a multicultural hair, the way that you do things to multicultural hair. It's actually more delicate, so you have to be really careful.
Well, that's cool. Now, let's go back to when you had the idea to kind of expand what you were doing, right? We focus a lot on this show talking about called Business Titans, where you think different, you execute different, and coming up with something that other people aren't doing. Were you in your small area of Greensburg, right? Mm-hmm. So when you were coming up with that, no one told you to do that. You were was other salons doing that, or was you kind of?
I started in my home because I had little ones, and actually I didn't start in my home. I started with working for other people about 3-4 years. And then I realized that this just wasn't for me because I didn't like the way sometimes the cattiness was in the salons, and I just didn't fall into the drama part of the salon.
Cattiness? Drama?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. So with that being said, I just wanted to help everyone. I didn't want to fight over a client. I opened my own salon in my home starting off in 1996. My kids were just hitting elementary school, and I was like, I have to do this. I want to be a business owner. I want to do it my way. And I opened a business first in my home and raised my children for about 3 years, and then I opened in a commercial area. And at that time there was a huge thing about spas, day spas, massage got real popular, body treatments, waxing. And so I used to take a walk up through my hometown for exercise, and I would stare at this building every day and go, boy, I could just envision. And that's one thing I'm really good about, was seeing something before it's even done. I envision that.
Yes.
So I could envision me having this spa that Greensburg didn't really have. We maybe had one little one. So when I opened, it was a great success, and it was 5,000 square feet, salon and spa in a little town that really, it was quite exciting. So we were very busy. I had, by the end of me closing from head to toe, I was about 8 years in, and I had about 12 girls working for me at the time. So it was a huge success, but
so let's talk about, again, from a business standpoint, managing 12 people. There's people out there that have employees, right? What advice would you give them, managing, you got 12 people, as they say, 12 personalities, 12 different sets of needs in a sense, one person wants this, one person wants that. How did you handle that and deal with that?
Well, it was probably the hardest thing I ever did in my whole business, was managing other people, because I was never really a delegator. I wanted to show people and them to learn. So with that being said, I tried to, just not really be their friend, but be beside them doing the same thing. And I didn't ask them to do anything that I wouldn't do.
So you were leading by example.
Absolutely.
And that helped.
Absolutely. I could probably say 5 of my girls have their own salons now. And I feel pretty good about that. I was kind of like the person that showed them that they could do it. And I'm proud of them.
That's really good. Now, is it possible, a lot of people in business that serve in the business way that they serve, do you feel, they tend to be people pleasers, right? When you had that, doing what you were doing, was it hard? Did you at any point feel like you had to please
always
all 12 of those people at once?
You try, but you cannot. And every 6 weeks we're putting out fires, and it was one of those things that I was always just like, I would tell the girls, like, don't stab each other in the back. Share the clientele. Don't make the clientele feel funny if they're going to someone else because you're on vacation, because you'd rather keep them in the salon than to leave and go somewhere else.
Right.
So it was really hard. And when I actually closed the salon, I got offered an opportunity to open a resort spa and salon. And so I thought about, getting out of the self-employment phase and going into like a corporate type of thing. And that was even harder.
Was it?
Yes.
Was it hard dealing with people telling you what to do and giving you, red tape? And because you were operating on your own for so long, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
you're in this box. I'm just going to say box, where you had approval and you had to get this cleared and this had to be signed off on.
Absolutely.
Did that feel constrict? I would think that would feel, if you're a business owner, that would feel constricting.
Well, because I was the director, I wasn't doing many services, and I love being behind the chair still.
Yeah.
And it was hard, trying to be behind the chair, trying to be a director. And then I had my salon and spa for a little bit that I ended up shutting down and just doing strictly the golf spa resort. So but it was the hardest part was when you know that something needs to be done and you're trying to get approval for it, and they're not in the salon business and they don't understand why you need that to be done.
Right. Okay. That's cool. Now, when you talk about when you had these, there are people out there, and there might be some people out there, and and I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing, right? Where they're doing hair on the side, or they're doing some kind of hair on the side. They're not necessarily licensed, and they haven't necessarily went to school. Maybe they feel like they can't. Maybe they feel like whatever. What advice would you give those people that are doing it, even though they're not officially state regulated? Would you tell them, what would you tell them to do?
I would tell them there are so many opportunities out there to get funding and to help you to get the right licenses to do this legally. It's huge because, one is people won't take you as serious if you're doing this in your, basement and you have no licenses and you're not by protocol, by the law. This is a state board licensed business.
Right.
So I am huge about following what is mandated by my state, and I'm dual licensed back in Pittsburgh and as well in Florida here.
Yeah. When you let's talk about how you got to Florida, right? So you were doing your thing in Pittsburgh, had your Greensburg, Pittsburgh salon, servicing people up there. Word travels about, and you're good. Word travels, right? So
yes, it does.
Word travels about who
LinkedIn.
you are.
LinkedIn is amazing.
LinkedIn worked. Okay. All right. Cool. So you're getting more active on LinkedIn.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Which is, a lot of people are missing the boat on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I agree.
And I've stepped up my game to try to get a lot more active on LinkedIn. There's a lot of active people on LinkedIn, but a lot of people focus on the people that are not active. I'd say focus on the people that are active and try to network and do business with those people, right?
Absolutely.
So talk about when you came to Florida, how did that door open? How did that?
I got an email through LinkedIn from someone in the what do you call that that hire from TV studio, and they were like, we really need people like you with your background. Could you come in for an interview? So I was like, Florida, oh my goodness. I took the interview, and it went well, and I enjoyed every moment. So I was servicing celebrities and hosts and guests, doing makeup and hair, and it was a great thing for my career.
Yeah. Let's talk about behind the scenes. We're on a little smaller, much smaller TV show than in the TV network than what you were dealing with. We're not going to say the name. We're not going to get, we don't get no letters or not have clearance we're not going to plug them, but they're headquartered here.
Yes.
Even though they're nationally broadcasted. To fill in the gaps for those people that are wondering, it's a way you can buy products while you watch television. So you can use your imagination to figure out who that network is. But when you were back here working with I know I had talked to you before, and you were telling me, well, so-and-so's there. I didn't realize, that so many celebrities actually come to Tampa, even if it's for one night, 2 nights, to pitch their product on the air.
Absolutely.
And to get people to buy. So dealing with the celebrity clientele, we'll talk about that. Two things I think happen, right? So question number one is, are they difficult to deal with?
I think that everybody thinks they're a celebrity and they're just like us. A lot of times they would come into the studio and you didn't really even know it was them till you looked at your paper and you seen, oh my gosh, and then you put their makeup on and they became alive.
Okay.
So they're exactly like us, and no, they're not as hard as everybody thinks to deal with. They tend to be a little more, I don't want to say picky, but they know what they want, and as long as you're able to take direction and do that, it works out well.
Well, I think in fairness to them, I think when you execute at a high level, there's certain things you got to have in place. I know when I perform, some bigger shows I deal with, they're expecting me to send them like a 3-page rider. My contract is basically, a page, no more than a page and a half. But it's funny because I've learned in the entertainment business, you do things and it's like, you tell somebody, I need something to drink backstage, and then, you don't get anything. And then it's like, okay, so now you got to put it in writing. And then sometimes that could be misinterpreted as, you're being demanding or you're being diva. Now the whole story with the rock group and no brown M&Ms, I mean that's a little bit extreme, but but the sad thing is, like, I have seen some national recording artists writer, and I can read the things that they're specifying, and I get it. I get when you do the entertainment and you deal with some people, some producers that are cool and some producers that aren't. It's like, okay, I see why you have to spell it out. And executing at that high level, you kind of know it's like, I need to have this, I need to have it like this, I need to have, because if you don't, people just some people just don't. They just simply don't care. When you were dealing with some of those people that were behind the scenes, and were they particular about how they wanted their makeup, or certain brands of makeup they had to use, or
a lot of them had their own makeup kits, brought their own makeup.
Okay.
So some of them had their own makeup artist or hairstylist, but sometimes with having a network that runs 24/7, they didn't have always the ability to bring them. So a lot of times I got calls, be in the green room for so-and-so, and I would be there and everything was set up and waiting for me. They just needed my talent of putting it on and executing it.
That's cool.
So listening is a huge part of this business. If you don't listen to your client, you're not going to go very far. You can't do what you think they need. You can suggest, but listening to what they want is huge.
Another thing too, because I know that you deal with regular people, if I could say that, not to be insulting, but people that are in the non-celebrity or non-entertainment world, people have a conception that they automatically assume that they can afford you because you're charging like $500 a day or $1,000 a day. I mean,
of course you're going to charge a celebrity more because they're going to require more things and different times and have a little more things that they need for you to do. So of course it's going to be a little more money when you're doing television, but my behind the chair services are affordable and they go right along with all the upscale salons.
Well, that's good. And you offer something kind of unique in that you have your private studio, and then you have your studio that you have in Greensburg, but then you also in certain select situations, people that I know that you've dealt with some pretty high executives, and they just don't have time to go out and deal with traffic and find a parking space and go into a salon and all that. So you offer something where if you need to, you can consult with them, or you will go to them and tell them if they're getting ready for a gala or something like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. So when I started the mobile salon, it was I wasn't sure how it was going to work out, but I know that I got calls often, and with Florida being such a huge wedding industry, I mean, I think there was 19,000 weddings in 2016.
Yeah.
You were already traveling to them anyway, so I started getting a lot of calls from people that were like, I need you at 5 a.m. on this day. There's no salons open. Could you do this? And so I ended up doing them, and that's where my mobile hair and makeup and even hair color. I have portable sink that I bring. It's not like you're sticking your head in the sink and washing it, so it's very professional. So I bring an upscale salon to your house. You don't have to battle the traffic.
And that's not $1,000 to do.
No, it is not. It is very affordable if you really put down the price that you're paying to go, the time, your gas, your mileage, the products that you're buying afterwards. I am way lower than what you're going to get. And I'm one-on-one, very personal appointment. You're not battling 10 other people in the salon for that person.
Right.
So,
I mean, we've talked before that there are those people that they want the salon experience, like
some do.
I've taken, and those people that are following me on social media, I've converted a big section of, basically my entire garage into a personal gym. Some people like going to the gym and they want that camaraderie and being around. I never liked that. I dealt with it, but I never liked that. Now I'm in an opportunity, in a position where I like having a personal, private experience, and I'm sure there's some ladies or people really that they want to go to a salon, they want to be around other women, and they want to break from the house, but then there's those people that they want to look good, but they just don't want to take the time to do that, right?
Yeah, a lot of times I have clients that want to get away from their household duties and their children running around. And then there are some that don't want to leave their children or don't have a way to find a babysitter. So I go and I cut the whole family's hair. I do grandma, dad, so we call that the family grooming.
Okay.
But so it does happen that way. But then, I have the ability to bring them to a private studio if they want that personal one-on-one quiet time like they would get at a salon.
That's cool.
So it works out both ways.
So you can accommodate for the busy person, but then you can also accommodate for the person that wants to sit back and have a break from whatever their reality world is, and they just want to be pampered in a sense, right?
Absolutely.
Now, you talked about the brides, right? So we got to ask, I'm, as an entertainer, I'll do the weddings every now and then. I'm not big on doing weddings.